Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and to another video. Today I'm sitting in Merlin's field, which is a place that I often film because it's my happy place. I'm sitting right next to the stream that runs through the field because I just love the sound of the water flowing over the rocks as I talk about something that I've been thinking a lot about lately, and that is the sort of artificial pressures that social media can create in the equestrian world, as well as the fact that that sort of pressure can make us feel like having a quote-unquote boring everyday equestrian life is a bad thing, and that's not the case. I was having a lot of trouble coming up with a video idea for this week that was exciting or quote-unquote worth posting, and it got me thinking about the realities of everyday equestrianism versus the way that this reality is filtered and shown on social media. If you're anyway involved in the online equestrian communities, but particularly to me, because these are the ones that I'm most involved on, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, you'll see that the way that equestrians often present their lives on social media, like with most things you see on these websites, the things that they present are highly selective. So by that, I just mean that the things that people show are like the most exciting parts of their day or their week or their month. And that's all fun and good, but the reality is that you just simply don't see the majority of someone's horsey life, which is the boring bits. 95% of our lives as equestrians is what a lot of people would consider boring. Those simple moments, hanging out with your horse, mucking stalls, cleaning tack, working really hard at a 9 to 5 to be able to afford to pay for your horse. When you think about it, sharing the highlights of your day, your week, or your month makes sense when it comes to social media, because these are often the big milestones, successful competitions, the purchase of a new horse, etc. If you look at my channel, for example, most of my videos with Merlin so far, or not most of, but some of them have been centered around big milestone firsts in his life. And those sort of milestone videos will continue as he progresses in his training. But if you're heavily involved in the online equestrian world, which, you know, myself and a lot of people around my age and younger are, seeing nothing but a highlight reel can skew your perception of what your everyday life with your horse should be. If everyone you're following is constantly posting pictures and videos of them taking their horses, jump schooling off property, or to a show, going on an exciting beach trip, any other sort of exciting or entertaining event, that can create a sort of weird pressure, as weird as it sounds to say, that your everyday life isn't exciting enough, or that you should be doing more with your horse if you're not doing the same amount or same types of things that the people you follow and the people you admire are doing, that you're not doing enough. This pressure is not imaginary, it's definitely there. If you look at some of the larger equestrian content creators who have been making videos for the last 5 or 6 years, but whose journeys have shifted a lot over the years as they've learned and grown as equestrians, you can see a noted shift in their number of views and in their engagement as their journeys with their horses switched from being based more around competition to being based more around being a student of the horse, getting back to the root of why they fell in love with horses in the first place, learning to read the behaviors that their horses are showing them. There's a decline in interest and engagement as soon as someone moves away from the more exciting aspects of the industry, which by exciting I mean competition and pushing with the training to do more and more and more. Unfortunately, this pressure is often to the detriment of the horse. People like me who have young horses are often told or pushed to do too much too soon. On TikTok especially, it's not unusual to see 2-year-old quarter horses being started and going around looking like a seasoned reining horse, or to see 3-year-old warm bloods being started over fences. And at the same time, time, the videos and photos of obviously stressed horses demonstrating fear and flight responses are the types of content that frustratingly are more likely to go viral. And don't get me wrong, I love a fail video as much as the next person, but when you start learning more about equine behavior and learning theory, you very quickly realize that the majority of these fail videos are simply not funny because the horse in them is exhibiting obvious signs of stress and fear that has been caused by inappropriate or inadequate training or being pushed too far too soon. And you very quickly realize that with the proper training and preparations, especially when it comes to videos on apps like TikTok of young horses having an explosive reaction the first time that they're saddled or the first time someone sits on their back, you realize that given the proper time and training and preparation, reactions like that just shouldn't happen. But unfortunately, that type of exciting content is the kind that is super heavily rewarded both by views and because of the views is rewarded in the algorithms of these different social platforms. And this, because this type of content is the kind that gets the most attention, this can, in my opinion, encourage recklessness on the part of equestrians. So keeping this in mind, what does pressure created by social media and I don't even know if this is a word, but the unethicality of posting fails of obviously stressed horses, what does this have to do with the fact that I had a difficult time coming up with a video idea for this week? Bear with me, I promise there's a point. This all ties back to the fact that I found myself getting caught up in that pressure that I've been talking about, and I was deeming everything that I've been doing with Merlin recently too boring or too repetitive to document. So for example, my last couple of videos have been about, my last one was a hack with me style video where I took Merlin up the aisle towards the hayfield for the first time. The one before that was, I think, his first canter. Since then, we've literally just been mostly riding outside, working on slowly making our way further up the aisle, working on confidence, forward momentum, things like that. We've been doing the same thing over and over again, and I've been noticing a huge difference, but it's very repetitive. I've already made videos documenting his first canter and his first ride outside. When I caught myself thinking those things, I thought about the reason why I started making these videos in the first place. I started my channel with the aim of both sharing my journey with Merlin and making memories, but also sort of showing the life of an everyday equestrian, which was a gap that I saw in the sort of online equestrian space. I didn't see the sort of everyday life of the average adult amateur being highlighted on social media enough. When it boils down to it, I didn't see my reality in most of the equestrian content that I was consuming, and I wanted to change that because no matter how boring someone might deem my life, I'm content in it. It makes me really happy, and I really enjoy seeing other people enjoying their horses in a similar way. And I know for a fact that there is a whole community of like-minded individuals like me out there. So I started my channel partly in the hopes that someone like me might find and enjoy the types of videos that I really like making. So because I found myself thinking that I didn't have anything exciting enough to make a video about, I thought that I would turn those negative thoughts on their heads by making a video about how everyday equestrianism should be boring. Frankly put, it's better for you and your horse that way. If I subscribed to the pressure created by this sort of highlight reel shared on social media, Merlin would be way farther ahead in his training than he currently is. But instead, he's had less than 20 rides. It's been about an even mix between riding in the arena and riding outside, focusing more on exposure than anything else. He's only ridden once or twice a week, and he spends the majority of his time in this gorgeous field hanging out with his friends. Something I've talked about in a video a while ago is that sometimes I struggle to find a balance between training and simply being with him, and I go through phases sometimes where I'm so caught up in the training and then that burns me out, and then I take a step back and just enjoy being with him, and then I get super motivated to train. We go through another phase, and it's sort of cyclical, and I'm trying to reach a better balance between focusing on the training and then also just having nice chill time with him. Striking a balance between the more traditional training under saddle and working on things like spending time with him to build a better partnership that will help us out under saddle in the long run, or working on positive reinforcement behaviors and trick training that he finds fun that will also build a better relationship that will help us under saddle. Some people might look at my current trajectory with Merlin and think that it's boring or that it's going too slow, or maybe that the content that I create isn't all that interesting. I'm just making them because I enjoy it. It encourages me and helps me to capture memories with my horse and document my journey with him for my own sake to look back on in, say, 10, 20, 30 years. And to be completely honest, chill, cozy, low-key content is some of my favorite to consume. Some of my favorite equestrian content is just come to the barn with me style barn vlogs of people doing their everyday chores with their horses. So if you, like me, struggle a bit sometimes with comparing your equestrian life to that of other people and maybe feel negatively that you're not doing enough or that your life isn't exciting enough, I made this video for you. In my view, the level of hype and excitement that's presented on social media isn't sustainable all the time. That level of energy, which obviously not quite to the same level, but I've talked about in the sort of cyclical nature of me being super motivated for training and then taking a step back, it will quickly result in burnout. In some cases, might take away your love for both the sport and the animal, which is not what we want to happen. Horses are such a wonderful form of therapy and catharsis for so many people, and it's really sad when I see people losing their love of the sport because the pressure is too much. So instead, take some time to just be. Do what I'm doing now. Go to the barn, sit in the field with your horse, and just chill. Learn to spend time with your horse with no strings attached, and get to know them as, a living being rather than a competitive partner. Give them the space to choose to spend time with you rather than forcing them to. I will quite often come out here, especially not in the winter obviously, but in the summer I'll bring a book, or I'll have my phone with an ebook on it, and I'll just sit here and read. And sometimes Merlin will be farther away eating hay, but I'll call for him sometimes. And on the weekend, I was sitting here after riding a couple of horses, and I was so warm, so I took my shoes and socks off and I was dipping my feet in the stream, and he was up near the pile of hay, and I called for him and he looked up, and then a couple of minutes later I looked up and he was cantering towards me, completely I hadn't called his name in a couple of minutes, but he was still cantering towards me, and he came and he stood on the rocks with me, and he must have hung out here for 5 or 10 minutes before going back to his buddies. And that was completely I didn't make him do it. He just came and did it. I've said before, but a lot of my favorite memories with horses are those moments where it's just all about partnership and spending time together rather than the big exciting milestones. I am learning and I'm getting better at being content to just exist in the same space as my horse, and that being enough, that being a form of catharsis for me. Even more important, I think, if you have a young horse like I do, to resist the pressure to do too much too soon. I can't stress this enough, but pushing a baby too soon far beyond what they should be doing, even if they physically can do it, there's nothing saying that a 3-year-old can't jump or that a 2-year-old can't physically, in the short term, carry the weight of a rider. Doing too much too soon will lead to physical issues and mental blocks further down the line that will just set you back. I promise you. So in the end, having a normal, boring, everyday equestrian life is going to result in everyone, both human and horse, being happier, healthier, and more engaged in both training and partnership. I think I've reached the end of what I wanted to say. I hope that made sense and that I didn't ramble too much. I'm now going to turn this camera off and go spend some time with my horse. But I guess I will show you him first, because it would be a shame for, what a nice hairdo. It would be a shame for me to come all the way to the barn and not show you the main man. Here he is. Hi, dude. Are we just chilling tonight? He's just living his best life. Chilling. We had a really good ride last night, but I'm going to talk more about that in my next video, because the idea for my next video kind of goes along with the idea of not pushing your young horses too much too soon, and that's that after one more ride, Merlin is going on a little vacation. Aren't you? Are you gonna rub against me? You He's gonna have a few weeks off because he's just been going so good lately. I'm gonna talk. Does that feel good? Oh my goodness, hi. But yeah, I'm gonna get more into that in my next video. So I'm gonna leave that here. Hopefully this was fairly short and sweet. I haven't filmed nearly as much. I haven't talked nearly as much as I normally do. So that's encouraging, both from myself and this dude. We hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. Make sure to go give your pony a hug or a kiss. And we will see you very soon when this dude is gonna have his last ride before going on his first official vacation as a ridden horse. Bye.